Hi there, and welcome to WhyBuy Features. In this episode series, we go behind the scenes and look at individual episodes, how they were shot, techniques that we used, and just some general insight that might help you if you're new to the Director program. If you're new to the channel and the brand, welcome, and let's get started. So in this episode, we're going to be looking at the Insta360 1X camera, which I believe we filmed in 2020.
Hi everybody, welcome to WhyBuy. Today we're going to talk about the Insta360 1X camera.
So right off the bat, our introduction sequence, all our videos start with the same line of hello. It's hi everybody or hey everybody, welcome to WhyBuy. Today we're going to be talking about product name. And then it goes into the montage sequence. Now, what's interesting about what you'll see in most of the dialogue sequences is that how this was filmed, there was a fluorescent auto white balance on the camera that wasn't caught from the beginning. So it's got this bluish hue to the whole video, and it was color graded poorly. So you have this weird consistency with all the footage. So that would be the first thing I would advise you, is make sure your raw footage, whatever you're filming in, C-Log, V-Log, just that your lighting from the raw footage is, you pay attention to that.
1X camera.
What's interesting is when you're giving visual context to something, say like camera equipment, I think it's always important to juxtapose footage that the camera can capture, but giving it context with B-roll of that camera so that the audience understands what it is you're transitioning back and forth from. So let's continue into the buying story.
Profile 2. So I did my research and found that an action camera was probably best for me. And further research brought me to the Insta360. Now this camera is great because you don't have to point it at anything. You just have to hold it up, hit record, and it captures everything around you. So when I was doing my research, I found that Insta360 has a bunch of different cameras. And the reason I chose the 1X is because from what I heard, this one has the best stitching line when you're filming kind of between the lenses.
Right at around the 1 minute mark, that introductory sequence for dialogue was shot while walking. Now you can do this, but the issue is that if it's handheld, the camera shake, unless you have a really good image stabilized lens and body, or either or, it might be hard to use that footage afterwards. So just be mindful that if you are doing a walk and talk shot or sequence, that you just try and think ahead in case you want to use that footage, more prominently. Here, there's a lot of B-roll covering it up, so you don't see it that often. But the other drawback is that your talent or the customer is going to be talking while they're walking. So there's a lot of, breaths and their body's shaking. So that might limit you in terms of the sound clips you can use from their dialogue later in the footage. It might feel really out of place if they have a heavier breath or they're kind of jumping up and down.
The reason you want kind of a lower stitching line is because there's essentially just kind of a line of blur in any footage that you have where you're trying to capture between the two lenses.
The other thing too, so right at about a minute 23, you'll notice that the exposure is all over the place with this shot. And I should mention, I was the one filming all of this. So I really screwed it up. But I always try and suggest to our directors that if you can shoot in the morning or sunset, kind of that dawn dusk lighting if it's outdoors, because it's much softer, the color palette's warmer, it gives it more of a cinematic look. Whereas if you're shooting at high noon or whenever the sun is at the top of the day, it's really hard to control the lighting, and everything just looks blown out and flat, and it's just a lot more work. But I realize that can be a challenge when you're trying to coordinate with someone else that you're filming, someone you don't know, we're pairing you up with a customer or something like that. And you know, if at all possible, outdoor sequences, just don't shoot when the sun is directly above your head, because one, it's hot, and two, the footage never looks that great.
To avoid the stitching line, I try and point one of the lenses directly at my subject as much as possible. It really is the best way to get clear, consistent footage. So the battery life is about an hour.
I'm just gonna take a quick pause at 1:52. So again, dialogue sequence of walking and talking. You know, we stuck with it, and really the whole motivation behind this is to keep the pacing, it going, and feeling like the video is moving along. If maybe the story or the part of the dialogue is kind of boring, I don't know. It's tricky to get right, and this isn't a good example of it being done.
There are 360 pictures. You can do something called bullet time mode, where you kind of swing it around. It does a circle above every round.
Yeah, so right at, at that 2 minutes, 2 seconds, like this B-roll footage, and this is something that I think is so helpful if the customer has footage, you know, whether it's a cell phone or a GoPro. We have a bunch of footage that the customer provided from his own camera from, you know, holiday trips or snowboarding when he was in the mountains. This is critical. Like if you can, especially activity-based products, like say if they're, you know, talking about a snowmobile, you know, on the day of filming, you might not be able to get out to the mountains and film B-roll of this person, you know, climbing chutes and playing in the snow. You might be relying on them to help you with B-roll footage that they personally caught on a GoPro or a friend of theirs filmed them doing. So, you know, in pre-production, always ask if there's supplemental footage that you can use to help your video tell a better story.
This protrude out of each side, so you just slip it on and then you can rest it down. So in order to protect it a little bit better, I bought what's called the Venture case for it, and it's a really great case. It locks up and you know, protects the camera very well, lets you take it underwater to, I think, 3 meters.
So this is another important thing. So just at 2 minutes and 44 seconds, this is a good example. So one, we always want customers to talk about accessories that they have for the core product that they're talking about. In this case, it's a waterproof camera case for the device, but we didn't have it on hand on the day of filming. So what the customer ended up doing is they used their phone to film B-roll of it after the fact, but you can see here the image quality is substantially reduced because he shot it with low light. The camera's trying to compensate, so it's very grainy, it's very, you know, kind of the detail and the texture's just lost. So if you are filming dialogue and the customer's talking about accessories, just, you know, try and ensure that on the day those accessories are there ready to rock and you can film them and get your B-roll product photography.
So if I move the camera, I can always have it focusing on me, no matter which way the camera's pointing. So for instance, if I want the camera to...
So this is another interesting point. So at 3 minutes and 9 seconds, he's talking about the editing software that comes with the Insta 360 camera. Now, there is no B-roll footage or screen recording footage of that editing software in use. So the issue is we ran out of time, and you know, sometimes you can't get all the footage that you want, but we really do try and encourage people to, you know, if the person is telling their story and they're talking about something that's significant, to try and at least have some B-roll for it, just to give visual context to the story. In this case, we didn't have it, we didn't use it.
All of itself, and that's kind of what the camera's great at, just being easy to use and easy to pick up. You can put it right in your pocket and go. As long as you got the case on it, it protects it well, and you can just get out and film, and that's kind of the beauty of this thing. If you thought this video was helpful, please like and subscribe, show your support, and thanks for watching.
So again, the outro sequence, just like before in our other videos, you have an introduction. Hey everybody, welcome to WhyBuy. Today we're going to talk about product name. And then the outro is, if you thought this video was helpful, please like and subscribe, show your support, and thanks for watching. It might take a few takes, tries to get this line down. It's really the only scripted component of WhyBuy videos is the intro and outro. And no matter how many times you do it, on the day you always seem to mess up the line. So be patient, get the shot, and you'll see just after here at, what is this, 4 minutes, 38 seconds. Yeah, so extras and outtakes, always, you know, if we have them, we put them in afterwards. So if you have, you know, moments that were captured that were funny, or, you know, bloopers, that sort of thing, you can always put them after the end credit. People always tend to enjoy those, and yeah, you'd be surprised at how many, you know, of these that come about in a video.
A duck? Oh, Jesus Christ.
Thanks for watching this episode. We'll see you in the next one. So thanks for watching, and again, I don't even know what I said in the last video to keep it consistent. So that's it. That's the Insta360 product review, and really, I think the key, wow, why am I going into an explanation about what I just talked about? Unscripted, raw, authentic. Tune in next time. I still can't get these intros and outros right. Okay, so I start with the laptop close, classy. So that concludes this episode's, okay, I'm not even gonna bother with the laptop close. So yeah, that, hopefully there's a few tips here that you can utilize. Thanks for watching this episode. So that wraps up this discussion. How did I end it? Thanks for watching this episode. Something. What is it with today? Thanks for watching this behind the scenes episode, and have a nice day. Thanks for watching this episode. Yeah. So that about sums it up. That's all, folks. This is gonna have a lot of bloopers.